I lived there for like a year, so like I could smell the whole year.
50 bodies, one smell, 1 year, nobody opened the door. A fraud ring that drained $2.2 million out of grandparents in 17 states. A funeral home that got caught doing this exact thing once already and got its license back anyways. New York freezing the rent for people who make six figures while it signs a check for $1.86 billion in hotel rooms. And a Senate committee holding Anthony Fauci in contempt, sending it to a prosecutor the president just called a coward on camera. America, every one of these stories starts the same way. Somebody in charge had a piece of paper that said the problem was actually handled. The license said the funeral home was safe. The prosecutor said the fraud was actually stopped. The freeze said the rent was fair. Every piece of paper, they was lying.
The tolerance level for fraud is zero. Zero tolerance level for this fraud.
What is up, guys? Tyson, DeLaCruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Three people. I'm going to butcher these names. Three people. Yang Bao Li, Hassan Lu, and Xinjiang Zhao. These are definitely not local Chinese lunch specials, okay? These are people. All three overstayed their visas. All three were here. You guys absolutely guessed it. All of them here were here illegally. 28 victims listed so far across 17 states. And the U.S. attorney said that number keeps on climbing by the day. They didn't pretend to be some random stranger. They pretended to be the DEA. The IRS, they pretended to be the Federal Trade Commission. One Army veteran got told his identity was used to buy drugs in another state. And the only way to fix it was to mail his savings, his entire savings, you guys, to a P.O. box. Credit here where credit is due. This case didn't start with a federal task force sweeping in. It started with one elderly woman in Illinois. Shout out to Illinois for calling her local police department in June with a fraud complaint. 2 months later, 3 people were in custody. That part of the system actually worked. But the money still went to a UPS store in Orlando, Florida, then through a shell company to China. Gone. Finito burrito by the next morning.
One victim lost as much as $240,000. They say the total take sits at least $2.2 million. Money wired by shell companies to China, even Bahrain, and most of it never to be seen again.
$240,000. One person alone. 3 more suspects are still waiting, believed to be sitting in China. They're sitting in China right now. They're sitting in China right now. And obviously, we know how the Chinese work. They don't hand people back to us that easy. They're handling in China. Chinese food is the best. Kung Pao chicken. Here we go. Here's the situation, you guys. They call, they text, or pop up on your screen. 2, they claim to be the government. 3, they tell you to keep it a secret to your family so you don't tell anybody, okay? 4, then they tell you to mail the cash or the check to a P.O. box. The money goes overseas before your bank even opens up tomorrow. They didn't hack anything here. They talked their way through the front door, one polite lie at a time. This is Vegas as a whole industry running on people who work their entire lives to build a nest egg, and somebody sitting overseas figured out the fastest way to empty it was to sound official here. It's the same con as a fake pit boss walking you to the floor and tell you that this machine is rigged in your favor or this table is hot. It only works if you believe the guy in the uniform. Guys, I'll tell you exactly what I think here. Somebody made the decision to come to this country, first off, illegally, then made a second decision to spend their entire time targeting people in their 80s. What a dick. That's not desperation here. That's a choice made twice. On purpose.
Elderly people losing several $100,000 is life-changing, life-threatening, and can you imagine the fear that these people have to live with moving forward? It's almost inexplicable.
And here's the thing, the money isn't coming back. The prosecutor said it so directly. We already know once this money leaves, it's not coming back. That's not a retirement count. That is the entire retirement.
Anybody who feels like something crazy happens, something unusual happens, feel like they were taken advantage of, please call. Give us a chance to do our job and look into it.
Here's one thing you can actually use from this video. No federal agency on earth will ever ask you to mail in cash or a cashier's check to a P.O. box, okay? Everybody, please hear me there, okay? No federal agency on planet Earth will ever ask you to mail cash or a cashier's check to a P.O. box. Not once, never. If somebody says your account's been compromised, hang up the phone. Call the number printed on your own card and tell your family members. The secrecy here is the entire scam.
Breaking news tonight, a disturbing investigation at a Southside funeral home. Just in the last 10 minutes, Cook County officials confirmed more than 50 decaying bodies were found there. This is happening in the South Deering neighborhood. Our crew's spotting police who had the street shut down. And the medical examiner's office says their work here will continue for days.
More than 50 bodies. South Chicago Chapel, far south side. Cops showed up for a routine license check and walked into a hazmat scene.
According to the Illinois Department of Financial and Professional Regulation, the funeral home director's license was suspended because of deplorable conditions, including rodent infestation, causing decomposition and maggot infestation of the bodies.
This is absolutely disgusting here. Rodent infestation, maggot infestation. Bodies were just sitting in an unrefrigerated room. Guys, my mouth started salivating right now when I said that. This is gross.
State records show that the president of this South Chicago chapel is the same person who previously operated Heights Crematory in Chicago Heights. Last year, that crematory was shut down by the state after authorities found bodies stored in trailers.
Now I feel bad for the families of those bodies, and I feel bad for the bodies in general, but this is the same ownership that already ran this crematory and got shut down for the exact same thing. Bodies, they stored bodies in trailers, you guys. The state caught them, they closed it, and then handed them a license to open up a new company anyways. What is going on in Chicago?
CBS News Chicago was there as staff from Emmanuel Funeral Home and Cremation Services arrived to retrieve a body from South Chicago Chapel, unaware of the investigation. The staff said they had spoken with South Chicago Chapel earlier, but had not heard from them since.
We talked to them the first time. They picked up, they talked to us, they said they'd give us a call back. After that, there was no call. We kept calling.
A rival funeral home showed up that same day just to pick up one body for the family. They got ghosted. Nobody there even knew they got raided yet. A funeral home gets your money in the body up front. Storage costs money every single day that it's there. Skipping storage is actually pure profit. The state only shows up after somebody files a complaint. Nobody filed a complaint for over a year. The regulator wasn't missing. It was sitting by the phone that took 12 months to ring. This is like the extended warranty that you buy on your washing machine. The paper says that you're covered, you're good. Then the machine breaks and you find out in the fine print includes literally everything that was supposed to go wrong. A license that gets handed back to a known repeat offender is that same fine print wearing a government seal. Follow the money on this one and it explains itself. Every day that those bodies sat unrefrigerated, again, my mouth salivated, not in a good way, not like we're gonna have some barbecue, like disgusting way. Every day that those bodies sat unrefrigerated was a day that this business didn't have to pay for proper storage. That was their business model. Ask who profits when the rules don't get enforced, and you find out your answer before the medical examiner even opens up the door. The building has run as a funeral home for 86 years. It took one licensing board handing it to a repeat violator a second chance to turn it into a hazmat scene, with families planning a funeral for tomorrow couldn't even find her husband's body today. The funeral director's licenses are public record in every single state. Illinois runs it through IDFPR. You can search that in under a minute through like a simple Google search. Before you sign a contract with anybody handling your passed away loved one's body, look up the license and their disciplinary history. It's absolutely free. And apparently the state isn't going to do that homework for you. And in New York City has been on the feed lately a lot. New York just froze rent for people making six figures and turned around and wrote a check for nearly $2 billion for hotel rooms.
Landlords in New York have been making a 12% return on their investment on average.
How much should they make? What's fair for the landlord to make if you don't like 12?
They're complaining that 12 is not enough. And we don't think that anyone should have a constitutional right to double-digit returns on their investment.
New York just froze rent on about 1 million apartments. That is approximately 40% of every rental in the city. 30% of those people who just got that freeze make over $100,000 a year.
40% of the rental stock in, 40% of the rental stock in New York City is stabilized. So it sounds and it feels very good to a lot of people right now. But long term, if you're not in one of those rent stabilized apartments, there's a real problem, and this is going to make it worse.
You guys, that's like your gym membership that never went up in price for the guy who joined in 2004, while a new member down the street pays triple for that same treadmill. The new renter eats the difference. And all while the city is freezing money coming in, it re-signed a contract for up to $1.86 billion in hotel rooms for shelters running through 2029. Nearly $900 million of the last one already got spent. Almost 83,000 people are in that shelter system right now. I believe that the money is supposed to serve people paying in for it, not just the people receiving it. A freeze that helps a household earning more than the city's own median income itself. I don't think it's necessarily relief. It's a subsidy for somebody who is actually already fine. And here's something, you guys, that you can check out yourself. If you rent in a city where there's a rental rate regulation, find out if your own unit is subsidized or the market rate. Most renters actually have no idea which one they are, and the answer decides your entire lease.
Senator Johnson.
Yes.
Senator Langford.
Aye.
Senator Scott.
Yes.
Senator Hawley.
Aye.
Senator Moreno.
On behalf of the millions of people harmed by Anthony Fauci, resoundingly yes.
Senator Ernst. Aye. Senator Moody. Aye. Senator Peters.
No.
Senator Hassan.
No.
Senator Blumenthal.
No.
Senator Fetterman.
No.
Senator Kim.
No.
Senator Gallego.
No by proxy.
Senator Slotkin.
No by proxy.
Senator Paul.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, on the vote of those present, the yeas are 8, the nays are 5. On the vote by proxy, and for the record only, the yeas are 0, the nays are 2. On this vote, the yeas are 8, the nays are 5, and the motion is agreed to.
8-5, straight down the party line, like your Dominic Toretto in Fast and the Furious. He took the fifth over 100 times after already getting pardoned. He didn't need to do that. He could have just said the truth, right? If you got nothing to hide, you only have to answer once.
Today, sources say President Trump has privately weighed firing his handpicked attorney in Washington, D.C., Jeanine Pirro.
And frankly, I think she choked.
Trump furious, meeting with Pirro at the White House yesterday, sources say, after she dropped the felony criminal charges she filed against three-time Olympian David Hearn, who the administration accused of vandalizing the newly renovated reflecting pool.
I was disappointed with Jeanine Pirro, really disappointed with Jeanine Pirro. She folded like an umbrella.
That referral from the Fauci vote goes to the Justice Department. If it lands in Washington, it lands on the desk of a prosecutor that the president just compared to some patio furniture. Obviously, I thought this was funny. That's why I threw that in there. The timing is also funny on this one as well. America, every story in this video had a piece of paper that was supposed to actually mean something. A license that said a funeral home was safe to operate. A statement that said the fraud was under control. A freeze that said the rent was fair. A pardon that was supposed to be a closed book. Every single piece of paper turned out to be worth exactly as much as the person enforcing it felt like that day. You don't get credit for having a rule. You get credit for actually using it. Right now, the only people using their rules in this video are the 3 federal prosecutors in Orlando, the Senate committee that just voted 8-5. Everybody else in this video is still hoping that nobody checks the paperwork. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.